Hello everyone, I am the Interbrony, and I am reading Letters from a Secret Admirer by Subsolar Drift. If there are any yelling parts or anything, I can't do them. I gotta be relatively quiet, but I can still talk normal-ish. Anyway. Chapter 4. A Slight Misunderstanding. That night. Twilight Sparkle was a very focused pony. She had to be. Her life demanded it. Whether it was learning a new spell, reading a new book, organizing the library, or conducting an experiment, things went wrong when she didn't focus. Today, Twilight Sparkle couldn't focus. Needless to say, it hadn't been the best day for her. No matter what she did, all day the question had haunted her. What will I do? That wasn't the first time a question had been caught in her mind, but this one was annoyingly unresolvable. She couldn't do the research to find out what would happen, nor could she simply apply the knowledge within one of her books. No, the answer to this question was inside her, and in her own heart. Twilight Sparkle was as blind as a bat. She grumbled as she trudged her way up the stairs, making her way to the bathroom. Though the sun was still fairly high in the sky, she had decided to turn in early. She had had enough close calls as it was. That's the last time I'm ever working with chemicals with something else on my mind. She looked up at her mane, thankful it hadn't been burned off. She turned on the shower, waited until it was steaming, and hopped in. She let out a coo of pleasure as the cascade of water made its way down her tense body. She stood there, enjoying the warmth as it relaxed her muscles. With a satisfied sigh, she grabbed her shampoo and proceeded to wash her mane. Finished with maintaining her hygiene, Twilight stayed in the shower, pondering the question that had vexed her all day. What am I going to do? She closed her eyes, enjoying the feeling of the water coursing down her back. I have feelings for this pony, but I don't know anything about them. For all I know, they could be some lunatic. She frowned, struggling not to get stressed again. I just don't know what to do. Twilight's mind churned, bringing an idea to the front of her mind. But Rarity might. Why didn't I think of that before? Rarity knows romance. She'll be able to help me no problem. The water shut off, and Twilight got out of the shower. I'll go and see her tomorrow with a letter, and she'll help me figure everything out. A plan in place, Twilight dried off and returned to the bed, eager for the next day to arrive. The sound of a quill scratching on paper filled the room as Rainbow Dash worked. Over the course of the last weeks, she had become accustomed to that sound. She'd even come to find it rather relaxing. She did not write with the fever that she once had, now writing in a nice flow as the words came to her mind. A dictionary and thesaurus sat beside her, ready to be used whenever she couldn't quite find the words. She smiled softly as she wrote, making sure she found just the right words to weave into the letter. She thought through her work carefully, more so than she had for any of the other letters. Every now and then she cast a glance out her window towards the night sky. The moon and the stars resting there were inspiration enough as she wrote. The words came easily, more naturally than ever before. If Rainbow Dash didn't know otherwise, she would have said that she actually did like Twilight. With a flourish of the quill, she signed the letter. Dearest Twilight Sparkle, if I had a greater gift of words, I would craft from all that is in my heart and head a poem like no other for you. No, not an epic, nor a sonnet, for neither can capture the truth of my feelings. No, the feelings and thoughts I have will not be communicated by simple words, and yet I must try. I often wake in fear of you being nothing but a dream, but how can anyone pony like you be real? Some ponies so good and so pure. Should I wake one day to find this to be true, I do not know what would become of me. You are kind. From the first day I met you, I knew there was more compassion and caring inside you than I have ever possessed. And yet when I am with you, I strive to find that kindness in myself, for it is what you deserve. You are honest, both to yourself and to others, a trait that is more rare and more valuable than the largest of diamonds. You are generous, willingly giving others the most valuable things you possess. You give us your time and your presence, both blessings that we don't deserve. You are happy, which in itself is difficult, but much more so when it is only your own happiness you consider, but that of others. You are loyal to others when they need you the most, even putting their needs before yourself, and yet you are always loyal to what you believe in. Each of these traits is admirable on its own, worthy of endless praise, and yet, in you I find them all. Never before have I seen that, and it makes you the most beautiful and incredible mare in the world, and I am blessed, more so than I deserved, to have met you. Sincerely, an admirer. I probably screwed that up. I'm not sure how good my Rainbow Dash voice was there. The world seemed to fall away from Dash as she read through the letter. Something wasn't right with it. It wasn't quite the same. As she read it over, it was like she was separate from her body, but could still experience what it felt. Why was it when she thought through the letter more, it seemed worse? She felt the fluttering in her stomach, her heartbeat and breathing speeding up. She felt the blush spread across her face, and she felt the warmth from her heart spread throughout her. She felt all the telltale signs, and blanched. Rainbow Dash felt like she was going to be sick. She slowly rose to her hooves and tried to make her way to her room. Her legs shook, and she didn't trust her wings to support her. "Don't think about it," she pleaded with herself. "Come on, Dash. Just don't think about it. If you don't think about it, it'll all go away. You're just tired. If you go to sleep, you'll be fine when you wake up." With those thoughts, Rainbow Dash clambered into her bed and tried to shut off her thoughts. It was a very long night, with very little sleep. The town was buzzing, with parents running errands while the foals were in school, ponies heading to the market, or ponies just out enjoying the lovely day. The air was full with the sounds of spring, and it was impossible to be in a bad mood. Twilight made her way through the town, heading to Sugarcoop Corner. It would be good to see Pinkie Pie, not to mention she could use something to stop her stomach from growling. "That's what you get for not having a decent breakfast," she scolded herself. As was to be expected for that time of the day, Sugarcoop Corner was fairly packed. Acknowledging away from Miss Cake, who was manning the counter, she hopped in line. "One cupcake instead of a balanced breakfast won't hurt me as long as I don't make it a common occurrence," she reasoned. "Hello, Miss Cake." Twilight smiled when she reached the front of the line. "Could I have a vanilla cupcake, please?"
I don't know how to do her voice.
Well, Miss Cake's voice is going to be bad.
"Sure, dearie,"
Miss Cake replied, taking a cupcake from the display case.
"That'll be 2 bits."
Giving her the money, Twilight asked,
"Where's Pinkie?" "I haven't seen her this morning, though if I had to guess, I'd say check the market." "Thanks, Miss Cake. Have a nice day."
With that, Twilight departed, munching her cupcake on her way to the Carousel Boutique.
"I wonder why Pinkie's at the market," Twilight pondered. "Maybe I'll see her. I have to head through the market anyway."
She entered the market and looked around as she walked, hoping to see her bright friend somewhere. Finally, she spotted a flash of pink inside quills and sofas.
Why would Pinkie be in there?
Curious, Twilight peered in through the window, trying not to catch her friend's eye. Pinkie had just finished paying, smiling happy with her purchases in a small bag.
"Hey, Pinkie,"
chirped Twilight as Pinkie left the store. Pinkie did a double take as she heard Twilight's voice.
"Oh, hey, Twilight,"
she said in an entirely un-Pinkie-like way. She gulped nervously and looked as if she'd stolen from the princess herself.
"How are you doing good here? I gotta go by."
In an instant, Pinkie Pie was gone, leaving a very confused Twilight in her wake.
"That was weird."
Twilight stared after Pinkie.
"And more often than usual for Pinkie. I wonder why she was in quills and sofas."
An expression of comprehension slowly dawned on her face. No, it couldn't be, she told herself, reasoning that it was too out of character.
"There's no way Pinkie could ever write something like the letters," she thought, trying to quell her curiosity. "Don't be so quick to judge. It would explain why she was so panicked when you saw her,"
one half of her said, making a good point.
"But it's Pinkie. She's never even talked about relationships with any pony, let alone one of her best friends. she tried to tell herself. But that doesn't just help her case. She doesn't ever talk about relationships, so of course she wouldn't just come out and tell you. You're just denying it because you never considered it to be a mare. But I... Twilight stuttered, shocked by her own accusation. She's stuttering in her mind. All right. I guess I didn't consider it, but that doesn't mean it's her, she justified. What if it is? She asked herself. Either way, she's obviously freaked out about something. As a good friend, you should make sure everything is all right. I guess I should make sure, just in case, she finally decided. With that, Twilight set out after Pinkie. As she ran through town, she couldn't help but imagine Pinkie writing the letters. Could Pinkie really be so elegant? I know she shows flashes of her brilliance. Maybe she's a different Pody under that crazy party mare. She cast a quick spell to determine Pinkie's location, Twilight. She was in the library. If she's running from me, why would she go to the library? A teleport later, Twilight was in the library. At the sound of her sudden appearance, Pinkie turned slowly around. They were in Twilight's room, and Pinkie was at the desk. She must have been trying to get the letters. When she saw me, she must have figured that I knew it was her, and panicked. She wants to get rid of the letters so that maybe I'll forget. Pinkie glanced towards the door, trying to figure out if she had enough time to escape. Pinkie, don't worry. That caught Pinkie's attention, bringing her focus back to Twilight. It's okay. Really, Twilight? She asked, eyes wide in shock. Are you sure? Are you sure? Yes, Pinkie, I am. Twilight smiled softly. It took me a bit to figure out that it was you, and at first I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but now I've accepted it. I think I'm okay with it. Pinkie's face split into a huge grin. Oh, Twilight! You have no idea how happy that makes me. I thought for sure you'd be angry. Twilight shook her head. I'm not that kind of mare, Pinkie. I accept you for who you are. Plus, how could I ever be angry at you? Not after how romantic those letters were. Oh, Twilight, Pinkie cooed before it hit her. Wait a minute, romantic? She asked. Twilight frowned. Yes, the letters you wrote me were some of the most romantic things I've ever heard. Yes, the letters you wrote me were some of the most romantic things I've ever heard. Pinkie giggled. Oh, Twilight, you're such a silly filly. I didn't send you any letters. What? Twilight screeched. But what are you talking about then? Why are you in quills and sofas if you didn't need more quills to write with? And why did you freak out at the market when I saw you? Pinkie looked anywhere but at Twilight. Do I have to tell you? She pleaded. Yes. Twilight's voice was full of danger, making Pinkie gulp. Fine. I was at quills and sofas because I needed to get new quills. Not because I was writing you love letters with them, but because I borrowed yours for a prank, and they kinda got destroyed. Twilight could only stare at Pinkie, a flat expression on her face. Get out. Nodding quickly, Pinkie obeyed, vanishing in an instant. Groaning, Twilight face-shift. It was going to be a long day. Okay, that was the end of that. I'm glad Rainbow and Twilight didn't get in an argument. That's what I suppose from the title of the chapter. Anyway, that was Letters from a Secret Admirer by Subsolar Drift. I hope you enjoyed this. Goodbye.